I'm originally from Washington, D.C., although I've been here for about 9 years, although it still seems kind of like yesterday, which I guess is why I'm still here. So, hopefully, the slides will change a little faster than I'm imagining, and we'll get on to some of the work. The work that I'm going to be showing to you tonight is entitled Bone Secrets, and that is from one of my most recent exhibitions that has to do with literature, language, fibers, sculpture, and eventually you'll be able to see some visual art, I hope. Maybe. I think this has definitely been longer than just a few seconds. Start. Okay, I was helpful out by the people in the front row here. So this piece is entitled Bone Secrets, and what you're looking at is a large tree that I illegally took down in a park and presented to UC last year along with my grandmother's china. This is a view from above. The Bone Secrets, double entendre, has a lot to do with my family, and basically one of the things that I look for when I'm doing a piece is about some kind of literary piece, some kind of poem or word, some statement that I've overheard, that I put together, and then I try to make an exhibition, I can't speak tonight, about it. These pieces here are little paper birds that I put to the wall. They're really delicate. There's just pins that are holding them against there. They're all hand-dyed. That's another picture of them. One of the things that I do is, in my process, is I make multiples. And much like women's work, people's work from eons ago, I do a lot of hand crafting and make hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of the same thing until I'm going to die from carpal tunnel syndrome. This is just wire bent into this. This is actually a comment that my mother's therapist made to her, and I said, "Mom, I gotta use this." And she's like, "It's from you can't do that." I said, "Yes, I'm sorry, I'm stealing it." So, but this is the title to my show that I made. And there it is again. It's all these little fuzzy things in the trees are just felted nests that I made on top, and then the china that's beneath it. And one of the things that I'm really interested in is literature and art, and something that I guess I would describe as held sense. And that sounds really dramatic, but it's not really. But I'm looking at sort of Jungian archetypes and kind of looking at Persephone, Orpheus, all of these people who've had some kind of descent into hell, and then trying to make this artwork that would be like a cloak, would be some kind of protection or some kind of statement about it. Each of the little pieces that is in here is all made from small pieces of paper that I've hand-dyed and sewed together, and each of them has a word or a phrase on it that all goes together. And so in this one here, there's about 500 little pieces of paper, and it all comes together like this, you can see right here, to say, "I do not sell my crowns except to lovers." And that was an A.S. Byatt quote from one of her books. And it was about, not that I'm really biblical or anything, but it's about Lot's wife. And if anybody's familiar with that story, Lot's wife turns around and is turned into a pillar of salt. And one of the things I've been really fascinated about is those stories of people who try to do something rather heroic and end up having to travel down a rather dark road. And so a lot of these pieces are put together from just little phrases that maybe the viewer wouldn't even be able to recognize when they're all put together. But me, when I'm putting together, it takes me hours, weeks, months. And so it's really performative, it's really performance-based. And sewing them all, dyeing them all, cutting everything, and sewing together, that process is just almost as important as putting it together into an exhibition. And although, again, the title Hell Descent sounds kind of creepy, I guess it's kind of appropriate for Friday the 13th. The work itself is really quiet and really more meditative than anything. And here there's a pile of salt again, the little reference to Lot's wife, at the bottom with LED lights. And this piece is actually, and this piece too, was more my take on the play King Lear. And King Lear and Cordelia, again, I wanted to have that sort of coverlet for them, a shroud or a cape, something to keep them warm. And this piece here is called Swarm. Again, all the little birds. These pieces that are kind of floral, that are cut out, they're all hand-dyed in coffee and tea. One of the things you learn is I love about being an artist is about exploration. And I came from a painting background. I had no idea, oh, well, like this. I had no idea what the hell I was doing. And when I first tried to dye in coffee and tea, nobody told me that you can absorb caffeine through your hands. So I didn't use gloves. I just reached in there, I was playing around with it for about a few hours, and then about 12 o'clock I went to sleep, and about 1 o'clock I felt like I was having a heart attack. And I went on feeling like I was going to have a heart attack for the next few hours, and I found out the next day from some of my very helpful colleagues that, yeah, it's not a good idea to mix coffee and tea and just for hours on end absorb it through your hands. This piece is called I Am a Matador, and it's kind of a play on words. All of these are these hand-dyed handkerchiefs that I was thinking of, like women with brooch and their matadors, like in this very sort of loving and very, dramatic sense. And all these pins stuck into the wall. And this is my most recent piece, and these floral shapes again were the same floral shapes that were hanging up, strewn together, that I almost killed myself on caffeine dyeing. And I spray painted them, and there's little gouache elements at the top. But all of these last pieces are something I was working on this summer in a residency in Virginia. And much more formal, but much more playful, I think, than some of the other works. And very pink, as you can see. Gotta love a little pink. And man, that pink is taking up the space where the question mark was. So these pieces, even though they're about 3 feet tall, and they're really not, they're actually quite small. So it's shocking the way that these things are projected up here. So, but I don't know why this one is still up here. But there we go, yes. So, and all of these pieces, one of the things I loved was being able to use something like spray paint, which we saw earlier. It's used in a lot of tagging, a lot of graffiti, but used in a much more precious way, and used with gouache, used in a place really small that you could use and just sort of build up, and it looks a lot more like a print or a lot more like a photograph than that. And this one finally goes back to more of my painting roots, again using the birds and using the shapes there repeatedly and putting all of these together. This piece is called Netting the Smallest Ones. Thank you.